Brian here. I'm sure that you all know that pilot gigs are open deck rowing boats that were used to ferry pilots from the shore to incoming ships in order the pilots could guide them through the dangerous waters. Road pilot gigs were very popular in Cornwall because in Cornwall the prevailing winds are southwesterly, which means that you have to get from the shore to the ship against the wind. Sailing craft, which were used extensively in other places, couldn't do the job as quickly as a rowboat in Cornwall because of the direction of the wind. The earliest mention of pilot gigs was from 1666, when the Scilly pilot gigs were used to rescue the crew of the Royal Oak, which had gone aground on Bishop's Rock. The last recorded instance of a pilot gig being used for its original purpose of ferrying pilots to a ship also occurred in Cornwall, and that was in 1938, when the gig Gypsy was used to put Jack Hicks aboard a ship called the SS Forest. So they had a long history. At the time, pilot gigs weren't of a set design, they were all varied, and that was because it was always a race. The first boat to get a pilot aboard a ship got the job, and the pilot and the gig crew got paid. So it was always a race, and different owners had different designs of boats that they used, all trying to be faster than the other ones. Also, the design was influenced at one point by the government, who made a law that pilot gigs could only have 4 oarsmen. They did this because pilot gigs were used for other things other than putting a pilot on a ship. The other things included smuggling, and the government didn't want pilot gigs to be faster than the naval pinnaces used by the revenue men. So they instituted this ban on them having more than 4 oarsmen. Eventually this ban was overturned and they were allowed to have 6 oarsmen, and 6 oarsmen became the standard number of oarsmen for a pilot gig. Although some pilot gig owners were fighting to get 8 or even 12, this was never allowed because of the problems of policing it. After 1938, when all the pilot gigs were no longer in use, most of them rotted away. There were still 1 or 2 around, but it was a revival in 1986 when the Cornish Pilot Gig Association was formed. The Cornish Pilot Gig Association now has 69 clubs with over 200 gigs and over 8,000 rowers. So it's taken off as a big sport. It's spread all over the UK, but all the clubs are usually members of the Cornish Pilot Gig Association. It's spread past the UK now. There are pilot gig clubs in America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all over Europe, and even everywhere really. And there is now a World Championships that's held in St Mary's, Isle of Scilly every year, and it is hoped eventually that pilot gig rowing will become an Olympic sport. Since the Cornish Pilot Gig Association was formed in 1986, to promote fairness in the racing, there is now one design. Every pilot gig now has to conform to the design of one pilot gig that was made in 1838 by William Peters. That gig is the Treffry, and it actually still exists. It belongs to the Newquay Pilot Gig Club, and it is still being raced despite the fact that it is now over 170 years old. So every boat, every pilot gig now conforms to the sizes and the design of the Treffry. Gigs were originally built in 1/4-inch narrow leaf elm, and They're now all 32 feet long with a beam of 4 foot 10 inches. And when they are built at various stages of construction, they have to be examined by examiners from the Cornish Pilot Gig Association to make sure they are all conforming to the same design. Nowadays, a 1/4 inch narrow leaf elm pilot gig will these days cost you £25,000. Many of the pilot gigs today, although they're made to exactly the same design, are now made of fiberglass, which costs about £10,000 and is much more robust. My club, the Coat Heel Pilot Gig Club, has 3 boats of each. We have 3 narrow leaf elm racing gigs and 3 fiberglass training gigs. And many clubs do the same, they have both types. That's about all I can tell you really about pilot gigs. I hope you have found it interesting, and I hope you'll carry on with my reports on the race. Bye.